Hey, what's up everybody? It's DJ Phanatic Beats, content contributor for liveoffbeats.com. If you like to follow me, you can always follow me at Twitter at DJ Phanatic or Instagram at DJ Phanatic Beats. Today, basically, I'm showing you a video of how to use SliceX. SliceX is a really cool plugin in FL Studio that comes for free in the program that I don't use as much, but I look forward to using it a lot. I used it in a recent beat and it came out really well. So SliceX is basically like a way to chop samples, a plugin that is used to chop samples in FL Studio very easily, and it's real cool. You can do a lot of stuff in it. I'm just going to cover some basics of the plugin, so that way you kind of just get your feet wet with it, because it can really go in depth. So first of all, there's two different ways you can get to the plugin. SliceX, you can always just replace, right click, go to replace. I don't have it in my favorites. I really should, because I'm going to use it some more with some other stuff, but you always go to more plugins if you don't have it in your favorites. And if you haven't seen one of my earlier videos, I did show in a recent video how to add all these in your favorites, and you can get to them quickly. So anyway, hit more plugins, and SliceX, you just type it here instead of searching for everything. I spelled it wrong, and notice it shows up here. You can do it that way. We'll select it there, and this is SliceX plugin. It looks, don't let it scare you away. I know it looks pretty intimidating sometimes because you got all this crazy stuff. You got envelopes, you got LFOs, you got velocity, you got cut, you got articulators. Actually, they redesigned some of this, and you have the different display modes. It can get pretty crazy. Don't let it intimidate you. I'm just gonna show you some basics, because when I first opened it, I was like, what in the world is this? And it's actually really easy to use. So let me just show you right quick. Here's another way that you can open it. You can go to, for one, you want to open your browser with this little icon here, and once you open that, you want to go, notice it's not under effects, but you can check under generators. So check under generators, and it's a subfolder, Fruity, which are all the Fruity native plugins, and you scroll down, it's all alphabetical, and you can choose it here, and right click and send to select the channel. That way you have it in your channel rack. So that's how the two ways that you can open it. I definitely want to add it to my favorites. We could do that now. How about we do that now? So I'm going to do that now so I can just demonstrate for you how to add it to your favorites. I think for some reason, let's see, replace miscellaneous patcher. So notice these are, it looks like these are all effects. Sampler, that's not one. So let's look under generators, under sampler. Cool. So I'm going to select sampler. Notice there's little icons here of like the GUI, the interface of that particular plugin. I got Wave Traveler, Sampler, Reactor 6, Contact 5, and these are just some of the generators that I have. So what you do is you open SliceX, and with that selected, Sampler, that's where I would like to put it. Hit the drop down arrow here and add plugin database flag as favorite, and it should, SliceX will be added to this subcategory Sampler. So it just added it to this section here, SliceX, and it's alphabetical as well. And when I go to the right click here and go to replace, it should be under this section. See, SliceX right there. So now I don't have to go through those other two ways every time just to bring it up, just to show you right quick. So now what we're going to do is add a sample in SliceX. I have no idea what sample I'm going to use. I just jumped on this video to show you guys what SliceX can do, because you want to be able to utilize all your plugins in your software, and this can take years to master all these different things. But SliceX is very powerful and quick and easy to use, and I know there's a lot of sample producers out there, and this is definitely for y'all, but also for producers that looking to dabble in sampling, and just get your feet wet into that, because my music, actually I don't sample a lot, but I'll do like little things. I like more creative. Not that sampling's not creative, but I like to create melodies and use sampling as a backdrop, more like an ambient thing, not a main thing. Every now and then I'll do it a main thing if I really like the sample. So let me stop babbling on. This is pretty much for every producer because you don't want to just limit yourself. So just navigate to the folder where you have all your samples. I got a lot of old school samples here and more than this. I just have them in other folders and just haven't used them in a while. So I'm just going to randomly find something on this video. Let's see what we're going to go with. So let's Mary Wells, Two Lovers History. What's that? Alright, I think we got one. Yeah, let's use that. So you want to open your channel rack, and what you're going to do is open SliceX, and once you find a sample you want to use, left click, drag it into SliceX, and what it's going to do is put the whole song in there. We can close the browser now. The first sample, this first song that I chose, actually I went with. That's crazy. So I guess it was meant to be. So check it out. Usually with sample chops, you can stretch it and whatnot to whatever tempo you want. Let's change it to 140, just like a common tempo. And let's find a part that we want to chop in the song. So you hit play. And I think I'm just going to do the beginning right there. There's a nice little 8-bar loop. So we can check some more. You can always use your scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in and hit play. Notice I selected a section.
Can you see, little boy, what you mean to me? History.
Some cool stuff you can sample in here. Check it out.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You kind of don't want to get where there's too many drums. You want like an instrumental area, so you can kind of put your own drums at the top. It depends on what you're aiming for, because you can sample a phrase or just a loop. So I think I'm gonna go with the beginning. So let's zoom in and get a nice chop here. Zoom in, and it doesn't have to be perfect for the sake of what I'm doing. I think. Anyway, let's listen where it is. Where that downbeat is. 3. And it's always good to like count the bars. That way it fits a little better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. So it's basically like a 2-bar loop. So let's hit that right there. And I forgot where it ended, but we'll see where it's at. And you engage loop. If you're unsure where you are in here, just look up in a hint panel in the upper left. So let's check this out. 3, 4, 2, 2, 4. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Rushed a little bit, so I'll make it a little further. 2, 3, 4. 1. Sounds a little better. 2, 2. Nice, I like that. And forgive my voice. Been going a little too hard, a little under the weather, but I wanted to get this video to you so you guys can kind of, mess around with SliceX. Pardon me. What I like to do is actually create another instance of SliceX. It should save this loop. I hope it does. So we're going to replace this one as well and open another SliceX. This way, good thing I added a favorite. This way I can kind of I can keep the whole song just in case I want to go back and do another chop. Okay, so I didn't show you this. I believe it's here. Yeah. Under this little magnet, you might want to, before doing the loop like I just did, put snap to zero crossing. What that does when you zoom in, that way it doesn't have like popping sounds at the beginning or end of your sample. It's a lot smoother that way. That's a little trick that a lot of sample producers do and don't really tell you guys. So if you zoom all the way in, it should just be a zero crossing. See how close I'm getting into the actual audio? So it looks like, yeah, see, it's right after that dot, and it should be right before the dot on the other at the beginning of that loop. So anyway, we're gonna take this loop that I just did, this one, actually I think I want to make a beat right now with that. So once you have your selection, this icon here, notice in the upper left it says, oh my bad, it says drag / copy sample selection. So what you're doing is taking the selection and putting it either in a playlist window or to another SliceX. This is a cool little trick that I do. You can take that selection and drag it into your other SliceX. Now check this out, and we'll close what we did. This is the first one. Let's open the second one. Notice it has markers now. For some reason it automatically does chops for you. It's on auto chopped, which is this medium auto slicing, and what it does, it detects transients in the sample. So basically on your MIDI keyboard or your typing keyboard, which I'm using now, I can trigger these markers, and you can totally flip the sample. So you can flip what the actual song was to whatever pattern you want. So check it out. As I hit each key, see, I don't like this short one, so you can always delete or move the markers. And here's the undo right here if you did something crazy and you want to undo within SliceX. So as you can see, you can get totally lost with creating something like a totally different pattern based on those loops, and you can get to different pitching and different envelope stuff. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm just going to show you what you can do. So you can set your tempo. I just chose a simple, oh, I forgot to tell you, and when you drag the pattern, when you initially drag the sample into SliceX, what it does, it creates the loop based on the tempo. So every little note, usually these look like a piano on the side, but being that we're using SliceX, these are all markers now. So these are markers for every chop. So it's playing in sequence to the tempo. Which is really cool, and you can kind of like chop them here. You can move them in this piano roll. You can kind of make your own pattern here, but I'm going to show you that live and just kind of do a little performance. So what I'm going to do is delete all of this. You can always save this pattern for later and just choose another one. And I'm going to try and figure out so yeah, let's do that. So basically I'm going to record this pattern, hit record, just notes and automation, and you might want to check your input quantizing. I'm gonna keep it on step and see how it does. So let's record this pattern. Actually, let me do it on beat. I didn't even know what tempo I chose. Let me see how this sounds. So let's speed that up. So maybe 160, because it's cut time. Yeah, that'll work. So hit record, notes and automation, and find out where I'm at. Whoops, missed the counting. We'll do a quick little 4-bar. It's technically 2, but we'll do a quick little 4. Hit the playback, see how it sounds. So I did want this here. And what you can do is stretch these out so it sounds a little more natural, not as choppy. Yeah, and I don't like how this part came out. Sounds too close, right? And notice I fixed the first part, so the second part actually you can it's the same pattern, so you can always just copy it. Left click and drag over, and shift left click and copy the pattern. We're gonna make this I'm trying to find like I don't know. We'll see what that sounds like. So we'll do a different part right here. Notes and automation. And we'll see how that sounds. Totally off. Maybe I should do halftime next time. But I'm not going to make this video too long messing around with this pattern. And we're just going to copy that. Not like that. Shift and left click, move it over. So now you kind of have like a main melody with just some chops that you manipulated based on a loop. And it's a good starting ground for a nice sample beat. And what you can also do is just add in little things here and there that would sound great. So basically I'm doing two different sample chops within the same pattern, and I'm kind of layering a performance. So let's do halftime to see how it clicks in with input quantizing, notes and automation, and find out what notes I was doing. And notice it's overriding what I did previously, and I don't want that. So I'll undo that. And you can always just plug them in. So let's try that. Take off. You can always duplicate it and just do a different pattern to avoid overriding what you did. But now I'm just going to click in the notes. And I'm already thinking of melodies in my head. Oops. Oh, put that right here. Sounds pretty cool, right? So that's what I did with two different SliceX. Initially what I did, I dropped in the whole song in SliceX, and I just took this little part and duplicated SliceX and created a whole nother pattern by changing the different, playing my own performance with different markers. You know, made up that, and then I kind of did a double performance just to make that up. So what I can do is always just add some drums, you know, or you know, like some strings or something. So let's get pattern 2 as we're in the groove here. I'm hearing some like old school strings or something. So let's replace this. Let's pull up Omnisphere. Let's go to Omnisphere and see what's popping. Something like that. Let's just record that just for the sake of the video. Try not to make this too long. Let's see what that sounds like. I would make sure it's pitched better. And you can add some drums, you know, get crazy with it. Just kind of building it up a little bit, you know. So let's create a third pattern and just kind of give it a little life, a little rhythm right quick. And like beatbox it in your head. If you hear like a rhythm, just, you know, breathe it out onto your DAW or whatever. Take what you have in your head and trust it. That one. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. I would change the kick on that joint. Select the pattern, control left click and control B. You can always just throw a hi-hat on there. I think I'm gonna swap out kicks though, 'cause I like that first kick I picked. This one. Ooh. So I'm gonna swap that out. So I got rid of some of that tail on the kick, just a tad, and I think I would EQ it a little bit. So you can go to your channel rack, you start routing these. We didn't use the first one, so you can route that as 1, route that as 2, route that as 3, that's the kick, route that as 4, that's a hi-hat we're about to put on, route that as 5, that's a snare. I'm not sure, I already had an EQ on it, so that's based on something else I did. So let's just replace that with a fresh one. Get rid of some of those highs on the kick. Raise a little bit of the low mids. More of the bass. Kind of shape it. Let's get rid of that. Throw a hi-hat on there. You can kind of make your own pattern. Not that pattern. Just do fill every 2 steps. It's a little harsh for me. Maybe 4. No, let's do 2. Do a little shift, give it a groove. Lower it, because you don't want your hi-hat overpowering. Let's raise up the pad a little bit. And you hear the sample mostly on the left. A lot of old songs they did heavy panning. So you notice I got carried away. Sorry about that. I just got carried away building with just those 2 little samples in SliceX. I mean the 2 little sample patterns I did here in pattern 1. And that's just those little things that I did. I kind of felt it and just kind of created my own different phrasing of these markers of this initial loop, this one little loop. And I might take that little vocal part where they say, I think, to love. I would probably add that somewhere in the beat, so it kind of just adds that little element. And that little loop turned into this. And I can always pitch the sample. You know, you can change the sample to something else. I can stretch it where it's like really low. You can do a lot of crazy things with it. But I just wanted to show you the power of sampling with SliceX and just a quick way to create your own pattern with anything that you put in there. It doesn't matter what you put in there. You can do a lot of really creative stuff with it. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Again, DJ Phanatic Beats, content contributor for liveoffbeats.com. You can always follow me on Twitter at DJ Phanatic or Instagram at DJ Phanatic Beats. And Phanatic is spelled P-H-A-N-A-T-I-C. So go ahead, explore with SliceX, especially with what I just showed you. You know, just keep practicing that. You'll get better and better at it. And maybe I'll go in depth with some other features in there. But that's a quick way of making something creative. As you can see, I did this in a couple minutes. So, and actually I might finish this beat right now. So anyway, again, DJ Phanatic Beats signing out. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Keep making great stuff. All right, peace.